I am Elena. Welcome to Snape's Biology. If you like my video, hit like, share with others, subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon so you never miss an update. In this part, we will talk about population attributes. So let's start. In this population attributes, now here there are two words. First is population, second is attribute. So what exactly we mean by population? Population is a group of individuals or organisms in a particular area, and this organism either share or compete for same resources and they reproduce naturally. That means they are interbreeding. Now this interbreeding term is applicable only for the reproductive age organisms. If they before that age, that means if they coming pre-reproductive age, then this particular parameter doesn't apply to them. So this is a group which we call population, and this interbreeding group is known as demes. Now the second word, attributes, are certain characteristic feature or certain points which are associated only with population, not with individual. Okay. So population can be monospecific, that is the population of individual of only one species, or it can be mixed or polyspecific population, that means the population of individuals of more than one species. Okay, so we will talk few important attributes. So the first one is called birth rate or natality. Now here when we say it is a population attribute, that means birth rate, death rate would be talked about only when you are talking about the population. But if you are talking a organism, we just use the word birth or death. So it is birth of an organism or death of an organism. Birth rate in a population and death rate in a population. Okay, so how are we going to calculate this rate? Let us take an example. Suppose in a pond there are 20 lotus plants, and in the same pond after 1 year we find that there are 28 lotus plants. That means in 1 year of time there are 8 plants which are newly added. So we want to find out the birth rate or formation rate of this particular organism. So 8 new added, originally there are 20, so we would get 0.4. So the birth rate or addition rate can be calculated per capita, that means per individual. So this is how we are going to calculate the birth rate or addition rate in a particular population. So the maximum number of births produced per individual under the ideal conditions of environment is called potential natality. It is also called reproductive or biotic potential, or also called absolute natality or maximum natality. So natality varies from organism to organism. It depends upon the population density and environmental factors. So the actual number of births occurring under the existing environmental conditions is much less than as compared to the absolute natality. So it is referred to as ecological natality or released natality, or we can also say it as fertility rate. Okay, so when we say a new organism is born, we are talking only about one individual organism, and when we calculate in this way, then we are talking about a group of organisms, similar organisms which are able to interbreed, and how many new get added into that group. So this is a population attribute. Clear? Next one is death rate or mortality. So it is the rate of loss of individuals per unit time due to the death. It is of two types. specific mortality and released mortality. Specific mortality is the minimum death rate that occurs under ideal conditions due to the natural process of senescence or aging, whereas release mortality is the actual rate of death occurring in a unit population due to different environmental changes, competition, disease, predation, etc. It is seen that the maximum mortality occurs in egg, larva, seedling and in old age. Okay, so one of the important points regarding natality and mortality is vital index and survivorship curves. Vital index is the birth death ratio, and in a population the surviving individuals are more significant for a population than the dead one. So the death rate can be represented by survivorship curves. So there are three general types of survivorship curves which represent different natures of survivors in different types of population. And the first type is highly convex curve. Curve A is the characteristic of the species in which the population mortality rate is low until near the end of lifespan under ideal environmental conditions. Thus, all the members born at the same time live out their full physiological lifespan and all die at about the same time. For example, many species of animals as deer, mountain sheep and modern man show such type of curves. And the second type is diagonal curves. Survivorship curve B2 is the characteristic of such species in which mortality rate is constant at all age levels. A more or less uniform percentage decrease in the number that survives. But there are no population in the real world has a constant age-specific survival rate throughout the whole lifespan. Thus, a slightly concave or sigmoid curve B3 in the figure is the characteristic of many birds, mice and rabbits. In this case, the mortality rate is high in the young but lower and more nearly constant in the adult. Still, in some insects such as butterflies, there is expected generally a stair-step type of curve B1 in the figure. In such cases, survival differs greatly in the successive life history stages. Okay, and the third type is highly concave curve. Survivorship curve C is characteristic of such species in which mortality rate is high during early stage and constant in all other age groups. Clear? Next attribute is sex ratio. Sex ratio means in a given population what is the percentage of male and what is the percentage of female. So if we talk about a population and if we say that there are 70% males and 30% females, or it may vary depending upon the population that we are studying. So then it is the sex ratio. In a population, how many males and how many females. Next come into the another population attribute, that is pattern of population dispersion. So there are three possible ways in which the individuals in a population may be spaced relative to one another. It may be uniform or regular. Second is it may be random. Third is it may be clumped. In regular dispersion, the individuals are more or less spaced at equal distance from one another. This is rare in nature, but it is found in croplands. Second is random dispersion. Here the position of one individual is unrelated to the position of another individual. This is also relatively rare in nature. Third one is clumped dispersion. So most of the population exhibit this type of dispersion. The individuals aggregated into patches. Such aggregations may result from social aggregation such as family groups, or it may be due to certain patches of environment being more favorable for the population concerned, or even mating pairs and their newborn offsprings may be regarded as clumped. Clear? Okay, the next one is age distribution or age structure. So this is also an attribute of population. Distribution means in that given population how many individuals come into which particular age bracket. So to understand this, the population has been divided into three age bracket. One is called pre-reproductive, the second is reproductive, and third is post-reproductive. Now, if you're talking about human population, because this is going to vary for all different organisms. So, if we talk of human population, pre-reproductive would be before 18. If we are talking about certain plants, for example, mango, we have seen that mango plants, they remain in a juvenile phase or pre-reproductive phase for 5 to 7 years, and then only they start flowering. So before flowering takes place, they would come under pre-reproductive. Now then there is a period when they produce flowers, or in case of humans would be able to reproduce, and after a reproductive phase in plants we would include here the senescence, that means aging starts, and in case of humans normally after 45 that would come under post reproductive. Now depending upon how many of these organisms are there in a population, we would get different type of pyramids, and these are called age pyramids, and these age pyramids would help us understand what is the fate of that particular population. That means, is it a growing population, or is it a steady population, or is it a declining population? So let us take a population where the number of pre-reproductive is maximum. That means the individuals under 18, if you are talking of human, that is the maximum. Then comes the reproductive number, and then it is post-reproductive. Now what is going to be the fate of this population? As the individual which are under age, that is maximum, that means all that big number will come into the reproductive age. That means they would able to produce more and more offspring. So this population is anyways going to grow. So we will call such as growing population, and population of India comes under this. In India, pre-reproductive, the young ones is more, and all those are come into the reproductive stage. So when they come there, they reproduce more number of individual would be added into this population. So we take the example of India or any other developing countries, and the shape of the pyramid is triangular. Okay, and the second is steady population. Steady population, that means whatever the number, that numbers remain same. So here if we say that 1000 number of pre-reproductive are present, now only 1000 would come under this reproductive stage. So when only the same number coming into the reproductive category and then they reproduce, the number of individual produced would remain same, and then post reproductive. So such a population size would more or less remain constant. Then we called it steady population. Here we take the example of some developed country. These countries has more or less stable population, and we find a bell-shaped pyramid. The third one, if the pre-reproductive is a number and reproductive is much more than this, and the post-reproductive are also more than reproductive, that means the number of pre-reproductive is least, and this less number would come into the category of reproductive. So when less individuals are in reproductive bracket, they would produce less upsprings, so population will going to decline. So such a population is called declining population. And here we take the example of country Japan, and the shape of the pyramid is urn shape. Okay, clear? So that's all for today. Next we will discuss some other important population attributes and the most important growth models. Thank you.